Hi, welcome to the OT Tip of the Month. This week in March is Neurodiversity Celebration Week. And with that, I wanted to bring awareness to what is neurodiversity and what does it mean to be neurodivergent. First, Judy Singer coined the term neurodiversity back in 1999 to recognize that our brains all develop in a unique way. This term captures individual differences between all of us. Neurodivergent is a term used to describe an individual whose brain either has developed differently or functions differently for some reason. Neurodivergents may have a medical diagnosis. They may be an autistic individual, have learning disabilities, ADHD, or other medical diagnoses, but a medical diagnosis may not be present. Neurodivergents have unique strengths and struggles. For example, some neurodivergents have amazing memories. Some are able to manipulate three-dimensional objects in their head very easily, and some can do really complex math in their head. While at the same time, they may struggle with norms of neurotypical socializing. They may struggle in certain environments if they're too noisy or busy. There's all different things that can affect our brains and how we show up in the world. Now, why is it important that we're talking about these terms? Well, what's interesting is the research is showing that when individuals have knowledge and understand that their brains operate differently, they are more likely to be able to adapt and to succeed. What they're finding is that when we educate our students about their brains and how they're different and recognize that they're not sick and they're not defective, they tend to be happier. And as adults, they tend to aim higher in their careers and be more successful. So how can we help support? One thing is to not make assumptions. Don't assume that because you worked with an autistic child last year, that the student in front of you is going to have the same needs. Every individual is so vastly different, and we need to make sure that we are recognizing that there are individual differences and do our best to meet our students where they're at. Don't assume that you know and understand an individual's preferences, needs, or goals. If you're working with students who are verbal, please ask them about what's going on. Be curious and say, gosh, I'm noticing this. Tell me more about what's going on, or what are some things that you like, or what are some things that are helpful for you? So be curious and have those conversations and collaborate with your student, because the goal really is to help them be successful. Oftentimes, to help them succeed, it's implementing some simple accommodations. Sometimes those accommodations are outlined very clearly in a document like a 504 plan or an individual education plan or IEP. If that's the case, there are going to be other team members that work with that student. And so you can collaborate with both the student and those other team members to implement those accommodations. Now, they don't need that formal piece of paper or documentation to put in some accommodations. Again, it's working with the student. Maybe it's changing their placement in the classroom. Maybe it's using flexible seating. Maybe it's something as simple as closing the door to minimize extraneous noise so they can better concentrate, or allowing more time to complete assignments. Again, being open to those ideas and recognizing that their brains work differently compared to the other students, you're really going to help them to access their education and be successful. So now I'd like to share with you a beautiful illustration from NeuroWild about the differences between a neurotypical brain and a neurodivergent brain. So here you can see this is what quote unquote good learning looks like. Let's take a closer look at their brains. Here's our neurotypical student who is able to easily sit still and look, and this is kind of what their brain looks like. As opposed to a neurodivergent student, you can see that they're focusing on their work is so tiny because they have these other things happening in their brain that's taking more space and energy. And so, when neurodivergent students are asked to sit still, their ability to learn might be quite small, but if they're able to move, or they're able to use something in their hands, or don't have the expectations to look at the teacher, they might experience more access to their education and have better ability to learn. So that really is the goal of education, is for our students to be able to access their education and to be able to learn no matter what they might look like. So I think this is just something to be aware of, to be thoughtful about as you think about the students that you work with. Oftentimes I'll get questions from teachers. It's, ask about fairness. Like, is it fair to have, or other students will ask about that. Is it fair that they get to use something different? And I always use the example of some people need glasses like me to be able to see clearly. And that's my tool for vision. And some people need something in their hand or a different type of seat. And that's their tool to help their brains to learn. So really, it's just being really neutral about language and saying we all need different things at different times for different reasons. And we're going to choose to support individuals with whatever they might need, within reason, of course, to access their education. So I hope you found this information helpful and useful, and hope you have a great day.